Hello and welcome to SudoKanard. We're here to see a very special variant of Sudoku by the Professor Richard Stolk from the Netherlands. It's called Skyscrapers After One Sudoku, and it's part of his impressive Sudoku variant series. And the rule is very unusual. Whenever you have a number outside the grid, it tells you how many digits, how many buildings you see above from building one. So what does this mean? Well, considering, I'm just typing a few numbers here. Let's imagine this row is filled like this. And all digits are seen as the height of some buildings. So this is 1 meter high, this is 3 meters high, or any unit of your choice. And big digits block smaller digits from view. If you are viewing from 1, then 4 is hiding the 2, 7 is hiding the 6, and 9 is hiding 8 and 5. So starting from the 1, how many buildings do you see? Well, starting from 1, you see 3, you see 4, 2 is hidden, you see 7, 6 is hidden, you see 9, and those are hidden. So from the point of view of digit 1, you see 4 buildings. And this is what those numbers are saying. So I put the link in the description to the web page where Richard published this puzzle. And let's move on. So 0 means that from building 1 you see nothing. So 1 must be here, you're seeing nothing to this side. If you put 1 anywhere else, you will always see the next building, at least. So likewise, this 0 means there's a 1 here. Alright, so 5 means that 1 can't be too far away. All those buildings must be seen. And 1 can't be here, can't be here. So only 2 places in this column. But 1 here doesn't work because of this 3. Starting from the 1, we must be able to see at least 3 buildings. So 1 is here in this column. And that's interesting with this 4, because 1 must see 4 buildings, so those are in ascending order. And there is a way of notating this. So is this, no, that's not a 3, yes, that's a 3. So I use inequality signs. And something similar is happening here. Is that the 2? No, this is the correct notation. And like this. So those must be ascending. Because of this 3, those must be ascending. And I can add this one, I think. What else do I see? Well, of course, 1 is lower than that. So that's a 4, and 1 is lower than that. And lower than that. And lower than that, obviously. So that's for the beginning. Now let's get back to digits, I think. So with this 4 tells us that 1 can't be too far to the left. We must see at least 4 buildings, but 1 is not here, is not here. So 1 is in one of 2 places. Not sure what to deduce from that. What else? This 5 is also restricted. So we must, from the 1, we must see at least 5 digits, so at least those. And 1 can't be here, so 1 has to be somewhere in here. All right. This too is sort of interesting. One here would have worked were it not for this one, but you can't have a one here or there, because we must see at least 2 digits, so one must be here actually, in this column. It can't be here, it can't be here, it can't be here, and we must see at least 2 buildings here, so the one is definitely here, and it's not there. And we can move on to inequality signs. Then here, this one must see 2 buildings. And actually, if one is here, then we have an ascending streak of 6 digits. But if one is here, we have an ascending streak. Oh no, that's not the case, because we are not discussing the ascending streak. We are discussing the buildings that are seen, and they could be in such a pattern. They could make a sparse. They could be scattered. So this is not it. Oh, but one here doesn't work because of this 3. From this one, we would have to see 3 digits, which is not possible. So one is here. There's a 1 somewhere in here. So whereas by Sudoku we get a 1 here and a 1 there. And I think that's all I can say with certainty at this point. Perhaps I should use some coloring on the clues that I've used to their maximum potential. So I select surface. So this 0 has been used. This 0 has been fully used. This 2 has been fully used. This 5 and this 3 as well. And that's all I think I can say at this point. Well, this 4 as well. So now, what can we do? We have some measure of ascending stuff. Note that this too is interesting as well, because in this direction only 2 buildings will be seen, which means you could have, say, a 7 here, a 5, a 4, and then a 9, and then 2 and 3, for example. Well, only 7 and 9 would be seen. But that's not very helpful. You see that we have an enormous freedom, I should say, an enormous leeway. What we can say about this column is that 9 is either here or there, and that 2 is either here or there. That's not a lot, but that's something that can be seen. Perhaps I should add some inequality signs. So that's this sign, and that's this sign. Well, some of them are not that interesting. And here I can put this one, and here I can put this one. And here I can put this one, and this one, and this one. Like I was saying, I'm not sure this is really helpful to mark all the inequality signs that are obvious. Let's say it keeps me occupied. And something sort of interesting here is that this can't be too big, because we know that in this direction 4 buildings will be seen. So they could be 9, 8, 7, and 6. So this is no bigger than 6. And this is no bigger than 5. That's a bit harsh, I should say. And yes, I think that is somewhat interesting, because we know that 9 is somewhere in this area. Oh, and by the way, 9 will never be here, because if 9 were here, then this clue would be 2. So 9 is actually here. 9, I say, not 0. And this is starting to be interesting, because now 9 has to appear somewhere here, not here because of this inequality sign. So 9 has to be here, and seeing that 2 buildings are seen, 9 can only be here. And this building here could be any digit. But now this 2 is satisfied. So I guess this is some progress. So the question arises as to where 8 goes in this column. Could be here, could be here, and both seem to work. And actually this also seems to work regarding this. And we should note that this digit is at most a 6. At least a 6, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is at least 6. So this here is ascending. So 8 would work, and we would have a 9 somewhere else on the row. Note that because of those 9s, 9 must appear somewhere in there. And here it wouldn't work because of this 3. We know that 1 must see 3 buildings. 1. So 9 will never be here, 9 is here. So on this row, 1 is here or there, it must see 3 buildings. 9 must be somewhere in here. But here it wouldn't work with this 5. So 9 is somewhere in here. And with this 4, a 9 here would work, and a 9 here would probably work as well. Oh, I've been missing something. This 4 says that all 4 buildings here must be seen, because this 9 blocks the view from all others in the row. So we can add a few more symbols, a few more inequality signs. And then this 4 can't be used more than that. All right. This 3 and this 4 look interesting. By the way, there's a 9 somewhere up there, not sure where. So this 5 is also interesting because we see that 9 must be far away from the 1. We must see at least 5 buildings, but 9 can't be here because of those inequality signs. So 9 must be somewhere in this part. And then I don't see any way of disambiguating this. One of the ones, sorry about that. Well, what was I about to say? Oh, I'm seeing something else with the 9s. On this row, 9 will never be here because of this 4. 9 can't appear in any of those 3 cells. And 9 can't appear here, so 9 has to be here in this block. That's the only place. So that's not a 9, that's a 9. So there's a lot of room between the 1 here and the 9 on the row. And we know that there's a 9 somewhere in here. And something interesting about this is that if I put a 1 here, then 9 will never be here because of this 3. And the same happens with this. And by that I mean that wherever I put the 1 here, I must see 3 buildings, which puts the 9 here, or if the 1 is here, the 9 must be here. So actually, the positions for 9 are those, according to this 3 and 4, and position of 1 in here. So this is becoming somewhat clearer, not that much. The fact that this can be resolved uniquely seems even more miraculous now than when I was starting to begin the solve. Oh, sorry, 8 can't be here. Starting from 1, I would see this digit, 8 and 9 only. So no, 8 can't be here, 8 is actually there. So the question is now about 7. 7 is on either end of this. 7 could be here, 7 could be there. And for this ascending line, we know that this is 2 or 3, this is 3 or 4, 4 or 5, 5 or 6, 6 or 7, and whatever digit does not appear here will be the digit here. And any of them at this point is a valid candidate, I think. And if we look closely, we know that 8 has to appear somewhere in those 2 cells. And in one of those 2 cells, but 8 here wouldn't work. We would need 3 digits bigger than that, so 8 is here. 8, 7, 6, 5. This is at most 5. So that's huge pencil marking. But actually, looking at this 4, we must see 4 buildings. 9, 8, 7, 6. So this is 6 maximum, which proves the pencil marks a lot. Oh, and here we get a 2, 3 pair. So that's a 4, 5, 6, and 7. That's not 5. That's not 5 nor 6. So that's not 4 either. And here we get 2, 3 pair as well. So that's a 4. And to fulfill this 4, we must see an 8 and a 9 in the remainder of this row. So those are from 2, 3, and 8. Well, 8 here would be interesting because we would need to put 1 in this place. But we don't know anything about this, I'm afraid. So now this is a 5, 6, 7 triple. This is 2 or 3, but it's the the same digit as this one, and those are from 2, 3, and 4. Oh, and this is at least 4, so it has to be a 4, and that's a 3, and that's a 2. Here we have a 5, 6, 7 triple, and 8 must appear somewhere in this area. All of this is from 5, 6, 7, and 8, with an 8 somewhere in this spot. So now, where else should we look? 1 here wouldn't work, because we would see this digit, 4 would be hidden, we would see 8, this would be hidden, we would see 9, and this 4 would be broken. So 1 is here, 1 is there. And because of this 3, 8 is not a valid option for this cell. So we will see this digit, the 6, and those digits will be hidden by the 6, so they must be 4 and 5. And we have 7 and 8 in here, we have an 8 in there, so that now this 4 is fulfilled. We will see 4, 7, 8, and 9. Here we will see this digit 6 and 9, so this 3 is fulfilled. And to fulfill this one, we must see only one of those two buildings, so that's an 8 and that's a 7. So all of a sudden, a lot is falling into place. So this 4, this 1, and this 3 are fulfilled. And something else now is interesting. This 4 here says that 4 buildings here will be seen. Obviously 2 will be hidden by all those buildings. But we see that all of this must be ascending. So let's get back to Sudoku. This can never be a 9, so we get an 8-9 pair in those two cells. And this will never be a 7, because a 7 here would force them to be 8 and 9, and 8 would repeat in the column. So 7 on this row is here. This could be as high as 6, 7 and 9, like this. Actually, we know that in this column, 9 could be here. We know that there's an 8 in one of 2 places in here. So this is ascending. Minimum 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is 6, 7, or 9. 5, 6, or 7. 4, 5, or 6. 3, 4, 5. So in this row, 2 must be here, and 3 must be there. This ambiguates the 2, 3 pairs. And it's time to think about this 4. Because now we must see 4 digits. We know that 9, 8 will be seen. We must see 2 more. So this must be smaller than that. 4 is hidden. So this is smaller than that. It's maximum 5. So it's a 2 or a 5. At this point, I'm not sure the symbols are important. I just noticed the 4, 5 pair in this column should be important at some point. This 4 is interesting. We see 4 buildings, but this one is already quite high. If this is a 6, then 7 and 8 must be seen, in which case 8 will be here. If this is 5, then 2 digits from 6, 7, and 8 must be seen. That's not so decisive. Well, this 4 is now fulfilled. There's still this 2. And this 3. So with all of this, I think this 4 is done. Well, I still need to fulfill all the inequalities, but I don't think I can do anything more than what I've done to use this. Oh, but this 4 is it. I was saying I must have 4 digits from 5 to 1 to 9, but the 5th digit is here. So I can deduce that this digit and this digit are not from the range between 5 and 9, so they must be from 2, 3, and 4. And this up there can't be a 4. And this must be from 2, 3, and 6. Five is somewhere up there. This is still not quite finished. This 2. So 2 buildings are seen here. And 2 of them are 7 and 8. So 8 will never be here, because then it would be the only building seen from the 1s. So 8 has to be in those. 7 could be hidden behind the 8, I think. Or could it? If I put the 7 here, then in this area, 7 must be the bigger one. So we will have to see 5, 6 somewhere in here. And this 4 will be fulfilled with the 8 here. That works. That's working. But 7 here wouldn't work, because then it would push 8 to this position and this digit would be seen, and this would have to be a 3. So 7 is here or here. But here it wouldn't work because of this 5. That's the key. 7 here would contradict this 5, because then we would see this, 8 and 9, that would be only 4 digits. So 7 doesn't go here, 7 is here, that's 8. And like I was saying, that has to be a 5, there's a 6 somewhere in here, that's a 4, and 8 is here. And because of this, that's a 6, and that's a 7, and that's a 9. Huge consequences. And this can be anything. Well, that's a 2 or a 6. 3 is not possible because of this. And you see that 3 and 4 are not in here, but they must appear in the column, so they must be here and there. And those are 2 and 6. I think that's correct. Here I need 7 and 8. Well, that's a very tricky puzzle. This row needs a 3. It's here. And perhaps I should have a look at the clues that have been fulfilled. This 4 is not correct. 5, 6, 7, 9. That's right. This 5 here. Oh, that's interesting. So we are seeing 9, 8, 7. This. So this must be seen. So this must be a 6 to fulfill this 5. And that's a 2. So get a 5 here. 4 and 5. 3 can only be here. That's a 6. That's a 7. Those are 2 and 9. So 2 here and 9 there. That's a 5, 6 and 7, 5 and 6 in here, and 8 and 4 in here. I just noticed that this 2 is not fulfilled. And here we need a 7. That's not a 9 anymore. Those are from 3. 3 is here. That can only be a 5, so that's a 4. And those are from 6 and 9. So I think that this 3 will be the final clue. 2 and 4, 2 or 4, and this must be from 2 and 5. So let's have a look at this 3. So this is seen. 7 is seen. This is seen. So this must not be seen, so this has to be a 2. So 4, that's a 2. 5, 6, 5. 6 and 2. This 5 puts a 6 here, 5 there. 9 up there with a 6. 9, 8, 4 and 8. And we don't have the fireworks, but that may be just because I did not create this interface. And actually, I haven't solved the puzzle prior to this video. This is something that I do pretty often. When you see me solve the Grand Prix puzzles, for example, you know that I've already solved the puzzles and I've entered the solution. But this interface was created by some user of Logic Masters Deutschland, and they didn't enter the solution because they probably hadn't solved the puzzle at the time where they created this. In any case, that was a very, very nice puzzle by Richard Stolk, as usual, you should say. And thanks for watching this solve, and see you soon on SudoKanard.